I think about 10 days ago, I tested positive for COVID for the first time. I remember last week I was trying to film this same weekly video and I couldn't film a minute of the video without coughing, and I was like, I should probably do a test. All right, block one is officially done. We did 70K this week. For the last 4 weeks, we did 40, 50, 60, 70. I mentioned in the last video that's how I train. I'm on a 4-1 schedule, so those last 4 weeks, the 40, 50, 60, 70, that's what you can call one block. I wouldn't recommend doing that, just because if you look at the weekly progression, I'm increasing well over 10% per week, 40 to 50, that's over 20%, for example. 50 to 60 is, again, 20%. 60 to 70 is close to 20% as well. So I wouldn't recommend that. The reason why I'm decided to sort of increase that amount is, number one, I feel like I'm short on time. But if you know me and you know historically how I train, I typically push those boundaries. Even, when I was training for a road marathon, and sometimes that doesn't go in my favor. I've been injured quite a few times, and probably that's the result of pushing those boundaries, but we're doing it again. I think I have enough base mileage in my legs to sort of push those boundaries a little bit more on the lower mileage weeks. I have about 11,500 kilometers ran total. So I think my body can handle 70K week pretty normally, in any circumstance. So far so good. And I'm really happy that I was able to do the 4-week block, no problem. We had a little bit of knee tightness in this week, and I'll talk a little bit more about this week specifically. But overall it was good, and basically this next week is going to be a rest week for me. And when I say rest week, I'm going to be running 50K for the whole week. It's more of a recovery week, just to get a little bit more recovery in, a little bit more sleep, and then we'll dive into block two. For this week, the 70K week, I tested positive for COVID. I think about 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago I started feeling my symptoms, and then I think about 10 days ago I tested positive for COVID for the first time. I remember last week I was trying to film this same weekly video, and I couldn't film a minute of the video without coughing, and I was like, I should probably do a test. So I did a test and I was positive. But if you know me, again, I'll train under any circumstances. So what I decided to do, I didn't put my training on hiatus. And now, before anyone goes and bashes me, I did all my runs outside, with trying to access areas with no people and stuff like that. So just hold those comments off for a little bit. But I basically did the week in reverse. So typically my big days are Monday, Tuesday, because I was sick with COVID, and I was legitimately sick. I decided to do my shorter runs in the beginning of the week. So I did 6K, 9K, 15K. What was it? 6K, 9K, 15K, 25K. So that 15:25 was that back-to-back day. And then I took a day off, and then I was supposed to do 15K with vert, but I was feeling a bit tired, so ended up doing 10K with vert, and then having a 6th day of running, which was 5K. So that gave a total of 70. But yeah, it was a really hard week. We also skied one day, which was a great day, but it was overall a hard week. COVID is no joke. It did impact me, and especially for those first 2 runs of the week, I felt it in my lungs. Like, I felt after the runs that, my lungs were weaker, and the workout actually had an impact on them. Nonetheless, we did it. And a lot of this, endurance training, it's about building confidence. So you don't wanna overdo it to a point where you can't achieve something. So, for me, that's huge. And just having this, although it's just the beginning, doing this block and surviving, so to speak, and doing well, is huge for my confidence. And I'm ready to take this rest week and just recover as much as possible, and then dive into block number 2, which is going to be a little bit more conservative than the first block, because now we're starting to get into the mileage where I think there is a chance I can get injured if I don't respect the distances and the trainings that I do. So block 2 is gonna be pretty sweet, I think. I'm super stoked for it. My plan is to do 80K 2 weeks from now, for the whole week with vert, of course. And then we're gonna follow the 10% rule now. So 80, 88, 96, and then hopefully this time in March. So we're February, I don't even know the date, but last week of February, hopefully last week of March, we're in that 100K volume range with vert. And then beginning to mid-April is when the trails are going to open up in Revi. So being at that 100K volume with vert mileage in April is going to be huge, because then I'm going to have that base to take the vert I've been doing in the gym, because the trails are closed, to translate that to the trails and kind of start getting a feel for the trails again. A lot of trail running is, you need to spend time on the trails, because you need to understand the footing and how to operate, and it's pretty critical to get some trail time in there. So that's kind of the goal. And then block 3 is going to be all in the trails, probably, because that's going to be April-May timeframe. And then block 4 is going to be just the last training block, and it's probably going to be the hardest. And then we start tapering the 3rd week of June, which gives us 3 weeks taper, and then July 9th is the race. I think we're in a good position. Like I said, I'm lucky to have the base running there already. One thing I want to do for just moving forward is just running slower, and that's something I've been having a hard time with historically, just because I come from a road background, and road runners are always looking at their watch and always hitting pace, and trail running is different in the sense where there is plenty of time, and it's more than running. Trail running is logistics. It's a logistics project. It's not it honestly for me has nothing to do with running. It's nutrition management, it's time management, it's understanding that you're out there for 30 hours and breaking it down to a manageable, time and distance. Like, it's just very overwhelming, and running is just one aspect of it. So let's go slower moving forward and trying to get more time on feet, and then we'll see how it goes. But quick update, obviously, I'm gonna try to film more action, but right now I feel like I'm in a position where I just want to talk about it. But overall good, and I'm still healthy. I'm fully recovered from COVID now, so time to ramp it up, honestly, and I'm excited. We'll see where it goes.